Guys, your boy Grinch here, coming at you with another video. Sorry, I've been gone for a while. I've been caught up in school last week, and we got a W last week. There's a lot to talk about. We also took an L this week against the Vikings. There's gonna be a lot to talk about. We start to talk about where we're at, the playoff chances. Something happened to Bruce Arians this week, and well, let's get straight into this. Yeah. Um, we're gonna start with the Niners game. Um, Ty, Tyrann Matthew and Drew Butler were back. Well, Tyrann Matthew didn't play. He was questionable. He was going to be a game time decision. So was Deion Buchanan. He ended up playing uh, against the against the Vikings, I think. And Tyrann Matthew didn't play for the Niners. He or the Vikings, but you know he said he should be ready to go for Atlanta. Wetzel, our tackle, was a rookie, and he was supposed to be going against Everson Griffin, the defensive end for the Vikings. He played good versus the Niners. He had a pretty good game. Um, the Cardinals did turn over the ball 4 times against the Niners. They only allowed, but the defense only allowed 10 points out the 4 turnovers, which is really good. Luckily, our defense is playing well enough. This is the sixth time they've held the team under 300 yards, and that's we have the number 2 ranked defense in the NFL. We're third in points. We're third in my bad yards allowed. A 51 and a half career sacks for Campbell. He's the most in uh, in the Cardinals franchise. To Chandler Jones had 2 sacks against the the Niners, his first multi-sack game. It was it was a good defensive game. Offense, not so much. I feel like we could have done better. If you turn over the ball 4 times, I'm pretty sure any offense you feel you could do better. So, but you know, many people were saying it was a disappointing win, but it's not that easy to get a win in the NFL. It's you never know when a team's doing better, when a team's doing not so good. Like the Niners Kaepernick actually went on and played a pretty good game against the Patriots. I think he only had like two incompletion. He had like 290 some yards. It's it's like there's unexpected things in the NFL, so you never know how things are gonna be. So it's it. There's never gonna be a disappointing win. A win is a win. You know, it never matters how much you win by. The only thing that matters is how many wins you have. So Tony still led the team in tackles with 7 tackles that game. Um, he there was a David Johnson still had a has still continues his streak with nine 100 yard scrimmage yards. 9 day streak and he continued today against the Vikings with 10 now. With 10, he had 100 some rushing yards, not that many receiving yards. Against the Niners, he had more receiving yards than he did rushing yards, and and he has the longest streak in the NFL. He has 10 NFL touchdowns this season. Against the Niners, he had 10 NFL touchdowns this season, and now has 12 when he played against the Vikings. He scored two, one rushing, one passing, one receiving. My bad. He has the most touchdowns in the league since last year. He has 23 career touchdowns, and he leads the NFL in touchdowns from last season. Uh, Fitz has has had 12 receptions for 133 yards, and it's his second for his second game in a row with more than 100 yards received, more than 12 receptions. My bad. His first time in his career that he ever had a 133. I mean, he ever had a two consecutive games with 10 or more receptions. Fitz passed Terrell Owens, which Terrell Owens is a great player. He was a I'm not sure if he's in the Hall of Fame yet, but he did pass the Terrell Owens for sixth place in all time receptions. All time he also passed all time Hall of Famer. Uh, what's his name? I can't quite remember. James Lofton for 11th place in receiving yards. So he passed up two great players this week, which is which is great to see. Our Larry Fitzgerald still doing his thing, still being no matter the age, he still goes out there and he still plays like one of the young ones. He still goes out there. He's still a leader. He's one of the greatest receivers in the league, and it's great to see him in great shape and still doing his thing. He was actually questionable for that game. For this game, he had an ankle injury that game, but Larry Fitzgerald still a great player, and it's good to see him healthy and still rolling. Luckily, he still has thoughts about retiring. Hopefully, he stays. We kind of need him. We really need him for next year. But let's not get so much talking about next year. Well, you know, we're glad to have Larry Fitzgerald right now. He he still goes out there and makes plays for us. Michael Floyd though, Michael Floyd had a great game, had a breakout game against the Niners. He ended up with five receptions and 101 yards. Including a 26-yard catch in a crucial drive where it ended up leading us to the game-winning field goal. Uh, it was a redemption for Catanzaro for missing the field goal back in Seattle and missing a field goal back in Arizona against New England. And it was actually in Arizona where they played Seattle. My bad. And uh, and that was Palmer's 30th game-winning drive in the NFL and his 10th with the Cardinals. Unfortunately, he couldn't get an 11th with the Cardinals and 31st career against the Vikings. Um, but it it happens. It's in the NFL, and things happen. Palmer had his longest career run against the Niners with 16 yards, and uh, Bruce Arians is actually joking about it in an interview. Uh, he was saying that that was the longest run he's ever seen in his entire life. Like it took so long, just like the game he was saying. But it was funny. I actually got to see the run. It's actually kind of funny how long it took. And he got 16 yards. Carson Palmer. Wow. And we got a walk off win against the Niners. Run blocking wasn't great. We got very little yardage off the runs. We did get which it did open up the chunk plays for us. So we were able to get chunk plays. We were able to get Michael Floyd, like I said, in back in the mix, back into action, getting ready. You know, ready to put him back in. And then you know, people were again was saying it was a disappointing win. I don't know so much about that. I felt like it was a good win. Uh, it shows that the Cardinals were still able to win in in pressure, and Canzaro can still boot one under pressure. And it gave Canzaro a chance to get back into his rhythm. But so uh, a win is a win in the NFL. Like you can never count anybody out just because of their record. Now let's get started with the Vikings loss. That's something that really was disappointing, knowing that in the position that we are now, we're sitting at 4-5-1, and playoff hopes for us are looking really slim. Last year we won 11-5 with 5 losses, but we didn't have a tie. So the best chance we have now is to go 10-5-1, which is still playoff hopes. Uh, the Cardinals had actually went 10-6 the year before. The year before that, and not make it into the playoffs. So the chances are still low. Many people still doubt us of making the playoffs. The Cardinals say that that it's not so much as for playoffs now, but to play for pride because like we were a great team. We were supposed to be one of the Super Bowl contenders coming into the year, and now people are saying we won't even make it into the playoffs, which is disappointing for real. And and the Cardinals really do need to get it together. They said that they're disappointing our fans. I really am kind of disappointed after the great year we have. We had last year. We didn't really lose that much players. We actually gained some players. Evan Mathis, great offensive guard, and Tyvon Branch picking him up, and Marcus Cooper, who has been a great factor for us in the defensive back and in the secondary, and he's been able to help. But still, the Cardinals have been. It's been a disappointing season so far. Hopefully, the Cardinals, I don't know, figure out something before it's too late because you know it's it's a tough time. It's a tough time to lose right now, especially sitting at 5-4-1 in the middle of November, knowing that it's playoff football coming soon, and we need to get it together. Well, let's get right into this Vikings game. There was a total of 70 plays for the Cardinals, for 290 yards, and we had 8 penalties for 96 yards. The the Vikings had more, had like 10, but it only stacked up like 63 yards, not as much as we did. We had a pass interference that really killed us and gave it into a touchdown drive for the Vikings, and mistakes, and that's been a big problem for the Cardinals all year. And we had 2 turnovers, one a pick six, all the way to the end zone from the 1 yard line. It was a 100-yard pick six. Palmer tried to chase him down, but 16-yard scramble skills were not his best at the moment, I guess. But yeah, the Cardinals are in a tough spot right now. You know, they're in a really tough spot. But yeah, we had 2 turnovers. I think we had one. No, we had 2 interceptions. My bad. 2 interceptions. One on a deep pass and one short pass to the end zone, which we were right there in the end zone. We gave up, instead of us getting a touchdown, we gave up a touchdown, and that shows the Vikings were like the number one scoring D right now, and that really shows it. And Xavier Rhodes is a really great corner. He took the pick six, and we just our offense just wasn't at its best. Um, we had only four of 13 third down conversions, and that's another factor. We've been really inconsistent. We we haven't been able to come down on get first downs on crucial situations, get yardage on crucial situations. Uh, Palmer had 198 passing yards, and he had 20 or 38 completions. He threw for 2 touchdowns, which which isn't that bad. But he also threw 2 interceptions and one really costly interception that took it to the house, and that's points on the board. We could have used those. We could have been tied. Like, if it weren't for that, and also the Cardinals gave up a kickoff return touchdown, 140 yards for Cordero Patterson to the very start off the second half, and it's really that was really the momentum starter for the Vikings in the second half. Even coming off we'd actually thrown a pick six. Then we were going back to I think tie the game, and we threw a pick six to make it 20 to 10. And then the last 2 minutes before the half, we came back and we threw and we ended up scoring a touchdown. Jermaine Gresham actually had that touchdown for 29 yards. It was a really good touchdown, and he really stretched out for that play. He used like all his body to stretch out for that touchdown. He broke like two tackles and then had to stretch out to get into the end zone, and it made it 17-20. So you think, oh, we have some momentum, we got the last score, and we're not down, we're only down by three, and then in the second half we come out and Cordero Patterson takes one to the house from a kickoff, 104 yards, which is really devastating. And David Johnson, he had a better running game this week than against the Niners. He had 135 yards off 28 attempts. I mean, I think no, it was total. There's a total of 135 yards and there's 28 attempts. David Johnson had 22 attempts and 103 yards and one touchdown, and the summer reception 57 yards and one touchdown. So he had one receiving touchdown and one rushing touchdown. The rushing touchdown was the very first touchdown of the game for the Cardinals, and the second touchdown for David Johnson was the last touchdown for the Cardinals. And we couldn't get another one after that one. That it was come we were coming back off a game winning drive and for the game winning drive, but we couldn't our offensive line couldn't hold up. Palmer got sacked at least three times on that drive, which was really crucial because one of those sacks was coming off of fourth and like 19, and we ended up turning over the ball on downs, and then they just nailed it, and the game was over. Yeah, David Johnson still had a pretty good game. He continues his streak from 100 yards from scrimmage. Uh, Ended up with a total of 160 yards and two touchdowns. We had 24 first downs, 12 passing first downs, 8 rushing first downs, and 4 off penalties. And our leading receiver was Larry Fitzgerald with 63 yards, not that much, and 6 receptions. And one, he didn't have any touchdowns, and which we kind of needed him to hopefully step up. And Michael Floyd only had one reception, I think, for like 12 yards. J.J. Nelson had one reception for 0 yards. I don't even know how that was possible. Probably off a screen, got caught at, and I wasn't able to see. But our defense did all right. They couldn't hold off that much. There was only 2 touchdowns from the offense, one rushing and one passing. So our defense the did hold up the offense. It was the special teams and the defense for the special teams for the Vikings and the defense for the Vikings that really killed it for the Cardinals. Chandler Jones had one sack and one forced fumble, and it was a strip sack, so that was the forced fumble, and we got our turnover like that. He was the him and Alex Okafor was the only ones to get sacks, and the leading tackler in the game was Kevin Minter with 7, and Tony Jefferson didn't lead the tackles this week. He actually got the PI to get in the game winning drive, and I don't know, man. Like, I'm just disappointed that after all what happened last season, we're sitting, you know, as not even a playoff contender. We're lucky that the Rams even lost to the Miami Dolphins. They were winning 10-0. Jared Goff, he was up and down, but we lost some very crucial games this year. We should have had a win against the Patriots. Uh, we needed a win against the Rams, and we should have won against the Seahawks. But that's in the past right now. We need to worry about the future and what we got to get done. Cardinals, like I said, they're playing for pride, not so much for playoffs anymore. If they make it into playoffs, great. But right now, we just need to you know, worry about the wins right now. And, take it a game at a time. Um, Now we're gonna talk about Bruce Arians. What happened to Bruce Arians after after they landed back in Arizona? Um, Bruce Arians had to take a trip to the hospital after having chest pains, and Fitzgerald, he was worried. Many of the players are worried. They're feeling bad. That, you know, that they're disappointed that they haven't been able to rack up wins, and they feel it is on their part that Bruce Arians is feeling like this. Bruce Arians actually was able to text some of his players. He texted Tyrann Mathieu and Larry Fitzgerald. He told Tyrann Mathieu that he was okay. Then he told Larry Fitzgerald kind of a similar message. But then after that he actually told him that we need to get a win this weekend, and that was his last comments. And you could tell that he still has his mind on football. He didn't want any distractions. That's what a great coach Bruce Arians is, and he's okay. And people say they say that he should be ready to go, and he's still got his mind on football, and he should be ready for Atlanta this week. And it's gonna be a tough game, but the Cardinals really need to pull off this one off. They can't have any more losses anymore. If they want any playoff hopes. So we do we right now the playoff picture isn't pretty for us. We're not even in the hunt. It looks like, but we can get in the hunt if we win out the rest of the season, and I believe our Cardinals can do that. I believe we can gather up and be ready to play because I know my team has it in it. And we'll end this off. And thank you guys for watching. And please subscribe, share, and like. Bridges out.